break what must be broken, once for all, that's all, and take the suffering on oneself. I think the devil doesn't exist, but man has created him. He has created him in his own image and likeness. It is better to be unhappy and know the worst, than to be happy in a fool's paradise. To love is to suffer, and there can be no love otherwise. If you want to be respected by others, the great thing is to respect yourself. Only by that, only by self-respect will you compel others to respect you. Besides, nowadays, almost all capable people are terribly afraid of being ridiculous, and are miserable because of it. Nothing is easier than to denounce the evildoer, nothing is more difficult than to understand him. The more stupid one is, the closer one is to reality. The more stupid one is, the clearer one is. Stupidity is brief and artless, while intelligence squirms and hides itself. Intelligence is unprincipled, but stupidity is honest and straightforward. The cleverest of all, in my opinion, is the man who calls himself a fool at least once a month. If you want to overcome the whole world, overcome yourself. Killing myself was a matter of such indifference to me that I felt like waiting for a moment when it would make some difference. I am a dreamer. I know so little of real life that I just can't help reliving such moments as these in my dreams, for such moments are something I have very rarely experienced. I am going to dream about you the whole night, the whole week, the whole year. Much unhappiness has lack of originality, everywhere, all over the world, from time immemorial, has always been considered the foremost quality in the recommendation of the active, efficient and practical man. Me into the world because of bewilderment and things left unsaid. And the more I drink the more I feel it. That's why I drink too. I try to find sympathy and feeling in drink. I drink so that I may suffer twice as much. Power is given only to him who dares to stoop and take it. One must have the courage to dare. Grown-up people do not know that a child can give exceedingly good advice even in the most difficult case. I am a fool with a heart but no brains, and you are a fool with brains but no heart, and we're both unhappy, and we both suffer. Do you understand, sir, do you understand what it means when you have absolutely nowhere to turn? Marmeladov's question came suddenly into his mind, for every man must have somewhere to turn. And what's strange, what would be marvelous, is not that God should really exist. The marvel is that such an idea, the idea of the necessity of God, could enter the head of such a savage, vicious beast as man. A fool with a heart and no sense is just as unhappy as a fool with sense and no heart. Above all, don't lie to yourself. The man who lies to himself and listens to his own lie comes to a point that he cannot distinguish the truth within him, or around him, and so loses all respect for himself and for others. And having no respect he ceases to love. Pain and suffering are always inevitable for a large intelligence and a deep heart. The really great men must, I think, have great sadness on earth. To go wrong in one's own way is better than to go right in someone else's. Man only likes to count his troubles, he doesn't calculate his happiness. I love mankind, he said, "but I find to my amazement that the more I love mankind as a whole, the less I love man in particular." We sometimes encounter people, even perfect strangers, who begin to interest us at first sight, somehow suddenly, all at once, before a word has been spoken. It takes something more than intelligence to act intelligently. People speak sometimes about the cruelty of man, but that is terribly unjust and offensive to beasts. No animal could ever be so cruel as a man, so artfully, so artistically cruel. Talking nonsense is the sole privilege mankind possesses over the other organisms. It's by talking nonsense that one gets to the truth. I talk nonsense, therefore I am human. The mystery of human existence lies not in just staying alive, but in finding something to live for. Taking a new step, uttering a new word, is what people fear most. The world says, "You have needs, satisfy them. You have as much right as the rich and the mighty. Don't hesitate to satisfy your needs, indeed, expand your needs and demand more." This is the worldly doctrine of today. And they believe that this is freedom. The result for the rich is isolation and suicide, for the poor, envy and murder. Much unhappiness has come into the world because of bewilderment and things left unsaid. Nothing in this world is harder than speaking the truth, nothing easier than flattery. To love someone means to see them as God intended them. I can see the sun, but even if I cannot see the sun, I know that it exists. And to know that the sun is there, that is living. The awful thing is that beauty is mysterious as well as terrible. God and the devil are fighting there, and the battlefield is the heart of man. If you wish to glimpse inside a human soul and get to know a man, don't bother analyzing his ways of being silent, of talking, of weeping, of seeing how much he is moved by noble ideas. You will get better results if you just watch him laugh. If he laughs well, he's a good man. Beauty will save the world. It is not the brains that matter most, but that which guides them, the character, the heart, generous qualities, progressive ideas.